This woman is on the brink of dehydration, but instead of drinking the half bottle of water she has in her hand, she splashes it all over her face. However, she picked up the empty bottle, stood on the elevated ground, and began to lick the rainwater that was seeping out from the metal plate. But that small amount of water was nowhere near enough, so she made an effort to collect more droplets. The container, the rainwater, mixed with rust, tasted almost as terrible as seawater. Before long she began dry heaving. She had been stuck inside the container for a week. To make things worse, outside the container stood a vast ocean with seawater continually pouring in through the hole. Even though the woman hadn't had any water for days, the seawater was completely undrinkable. Just when she was about to lose hope, she suddenly felt droplets of water landing on her face. She slowly lifted her gaze and realized it was actually raining outside. The woman stood up in disbelief, reveling in this heavenly gift. Feeling satisfied, she picked up the empty food containers and started gathering the rainwater. She realized she needed to gather this precious fresh water, as it was her only chance for survival. Even a tiny tin can on the floor turned out to be useful. However, just as Hannah was about to open it, she remembered that when she had drilled into the metal earlier, the drill's battery had died. The way she opened the can suddenly inspired a new idea in her. Once the baby is settled, she started her plan by tying one end of a long rope to the metal sheet. Then she grabbed the other end with both hands and held on tight to the rope. With all her might, she yanked down the metal sheet, just like popping the top off a can. Hannah applied nearly her whole body weight to it, but for the sake of her newborn baby, she gave it her all, and in the end, she was able to rip open the metal sheet. Sunlight streamed in, lighting up their faces and representing a fresh start. But when she crawled out of the container, her sense of despair grew even stronger. Outside, the vast ocean unfolded before her, with the small container that held there. Life felt meaningless on the endless ocean, and there was no glimmer of hope in sight. The unending blouse made her feel like throwing in the towel. However, in contrast to the dark and humid interior, being outside is way more comfortable. To the mother's relief, her baby finally took a poop. She tossed the diaper into the ocean, but it caught the attention of a little fish that was on the lookout for food. Amazed by the view, the woman bends down to grab one, but it's perched on a 2-meter high container. She couldn't even dip her fingers in the water. She made a simple spear and full of excitement hurled it at the fish. Sorry to hear that. Lacking any survival skills, she kept missing the mark time and time again. Instead of catching a fish, she wore herself out. She collapsed onto the floor, gasping for air, when suddenly she noticed an airplane flying across the sky.